Which one is that? There was one thing I'm blaming. This is that we're looking for a key. Thank you. Yeah, please. All right, here we go. Take your notes out. Okay, I'll give you a little time to read. I'll give you time for a map. And we got to the Dominican Friar. We got to. So I gave you time to read yesterday. Remember we had the shortened periods, and you guys did that that test. That took you.
Yeah, where do we do that? So that's,
Hmm.
I was in band.
Oh yeah.
So
I'll tell you right when it's done. It'll take you 2 minutes. I mean, literally, how long did it take you to do that test? Because it's the same thing we've had before. And did you do a third period?
no, that was a different.
Yeah, that was it. But you did do that.
Yeah.
So talked about, Florence, we went through a couple of different things about, there's this war and they invited the French in. Can we get this right here? Oh, about the popes. The Treaty of Tordesillas. It divided the world between what two powers? What two kingdoms? The Treaty of Tordesillas. Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah, Spain and Portugal. And later on, that treaty would be used as justification for the United States taking land owned by American Indians. That treaty done by the Pope. And who was the warrior Pope? Who was the warrior Pope? Look at your notes. Who was it? Yeah. Yeah, Julius II. Who was the artist he commissioned to do the Sistine Chapel? Which is awesome. Yeah, Michelangelo. So we got the war, Britain and France, the Holy League. So this is where we got the Medicis were kicked out of Florence. The French allowed this strict theocracy. So the bonfire of the vanities. They burned all these books, art, jewelry. So anything that was a combination of art, culture, but also luxuries. The idea is we're going to go back to this Spartan lifestyle of just worshiping God. It's no coincidence that this is at a time where there are rumblings within the church, questioning the church, or they're going to reestablish rule. This humanism was corrupt. So, but ironically, Salvador, he was threatening the main church in Rome. They were worried his zealotry would go to Rome. So the Catholic Church got really mad. And with a deal with the French, they were able to drive him out of Florence. And he would be executed in 1498 as a heretic. So the man who was bringing Christianity would be executed. And that is a drawing of him and his supporters they were hung and then burned. Now, sometimes they burn them alive. This would hung and then purify the bodies by burning. The French withdrew out of central Spain, and the oligarchy and the Medicis returned. Then we got that the oligarchy and the Medicis returned. Well, when they returned, that is going to lead to a former official in the old Medici government, and then had power in the theocracy. And so when the Medicis returned, they wanted revenge on all of those who had helped this theocracy and drive them out by 1512. I'm skipping a couple things. So they started rounding up people who had helped get rid of the Medicis and had them tortured and imprisoned. Basic little things, thumb screw, break the thumb, hammer to the thumb, pulling out thumbnails. Yeah, just the basic tortures. Yeah, they're brutalizing these people. And one of these people was Machiavelli. He was a government official who actually did not like Savonarola, but but the Medicis were just lumping them all together. And so Machiavelli was in prison and he was tortured. And he looked back and he realized something very important. I don't want to be tortured again. So who did he blame? He blamed the previous rule and not the Medicis. He's been tortured in prison, and he decided to flatter the Medicis by saying, you did the exact right thing. You had no choice but to torture me. You had no choice but to break my fingers and pull my thumbnails out. They didn't puncture his tongue, but they did that to a lot. Basically, go through. Very, horrific tortures. Some were hobbled, your foot crushed, that kind of thing. He was brutally tortured, and he said, the Medicis had no choice. When you're in power, you have to make decisions, and not everyone's going to like them. So you did exactly the right thing. What was he hoping for? To get back his government job and his relatively good contract. And what do you call? Some jobs have it, where you get slightly lower pay today, but when you are done working, you're too old to work, still alive, you get a portion of your previous pay.
Retirement.
Okay, but the term retirement didn't exist yet. But they have a name for that retirement benefit today, too. Have you ever heard of a pension? It's a pension. He wanted his pension. Some officials had a pension. So he's telling the Medicis, you should have broke more of my bones. You should have yanked my teeth out. Can I have my pension now? See, aren't you great? You're great because you're the leader. Pension's a big deal. Big deal. Most jobs don't have a pension. My job has a pension. I take slightly lower pay now, but it's called deferred payment. Then I get paid. So back to this. Big fringe benefit of a job like mine. What's the bad part? I got to deal with people like you. Right? Do you agree? No, I mean, it's, there's good elements, my job, bad element. That is a good thing. Most jobs don't have it. So he was going to write a political guidebook to lay out how leaders should be. But don't forget, it's not so much what he thinks leaders should be. He's writing what the Medicis want to hear. The Medicis are like, he wants them to think, wow, that Machiavelli can help us out. Let's get him back his government job. And guess what? It would work. There he is in the robe of a government official as a bureaucrat. And yes, he would get his pension. And this book is going to be quoted for years. It's going to be called The Prince. And in fact, those who rule like the prince are going to be called Machiavelli. You might have heard this term before. And here is the front cover of the new book with the new printing press. And this is about 100 years later. But this will be read by leaders, especially brutal leaders who want to justify their existence. And I'm going to give you a few quotes from Machiavelli. So let's go through these quotes, and you're going to have to jot down a few of these with the idea of being used these as examples, because you're going to have to give 2 examples from Machiavelli on your next test. Everyone got that? I'm going to give you a bunch. But you have to pick out 2 that you can use. So these are some, but here's the main notes. He basically assumed, this part you have to add, this is not a book, that people are evil, people are greedy, people are horrible. All people do whatever they can to enrich themselves, even as at the expense or even pain and suffering of others. They are greedy and immoral. Like he kind of was by saying, yeah, you should have tortured me. But so assuming that people are horrible, how do leaders have to lead? If you're leading people that are immoral, you have to lead with an iron fist. So if you have some kind of ethical system and like a moral system, like we must treat people this way, look onto others as they would look onto you, etc. That's for losers and suckers, because they're going to stab you in the back as soon as they can. And what are your examples? A lion or a fox. Okay, his point of view was a lion, a brutal predator. Nothing could stand in his way. Nothing was strong enough to take what they want. Or a cunning and crafty fox who use stealth and intelligence to hunt. Now, clearly, lions use stealth and intelligence too. But the point is, you either have to be brutal or a fox. Either way, because everybody's coming to get you. So if you're big and powerful, you're the lion. If you don't have that power, stealth, cleverness. Because if you don't do it, they'll do it to you. Which one was Machiavelli? The lion and the fox. these thoughts. Now the Medicis are back in power, they're the line. Or the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, the king of France, whatever it might be. They're gonna take it from you. So you must act like you're virtuous. Act virtuous. Act like you have some moral compass. Why? To promote yourself. But then act with ruthlessness. Be cruel. Break promises. Do whatever it takes. Be cruel. Because if you don't, they'll do it to you and you lose power. You lose respect. To hold power, you must do this. So I hope I have the quotes here. Is something happening? I lose a slide. You know, 19.2. So. Back up. This is one quote. This is a paraphrase of a quote. It's better to break promises. If keeping them, you might lose power. And don't forget, promises, losers. Laws for losers, ethics for losers. You make your own rules. Let me rephrase that. Another way to look at it is ethics and laws are for the common folk. The ruler has the ethics. The ruler has the ethics. They do what they want to. Now, this goes completely against also this enlightened movement of constitutionality, it goes against the Magna Carta, all kinds of stuff that are coming up in our history, but that it's better to be feared than loved. If you can be loved, great, but feared. By the way, is that true? So he's telling the Medicis, you did exactly the right thing. By torturing your enemies, they fear you. And now they'll never, ever, ever betray you. I should add, but history has proven that completely false. If you fear me, that if you look wrong, look down, I will punish you. Oh yeah, and I do it. You guys will do it, right? You guys will do what I want you to do. And what will you do as soon as I turn my back? All right, what will you do? The hell with him. What are you gonna say? Huh? Yeah, about right. You'll fear me, and then as soon as you can, you get rid of it. Get rid of it. Fear only goes so far. So to get you to do things, I have to make you believe it's for your benefit. But still, fear is better than love. And because love, though, they take advantage of you. And this is the most famous one. The ends justify the means. What clicked? Give me a second. You got to, is that my phone? Is that me? Is that
I figured that too.
Huh? They're watching us. They want us to fear them. So, the ends justify the means. Have you heard this before? That's one of the most famous. The ends justify the means. So, that's how you do it. You have a goal, get it done. And once it's done, it's perfectly fine. With the idea of being act ruthlessly, take power. That might include war, punishment, lying. But if you get your goals, it's worth it. If the state is more powerful and you are more powerful, it's worth it. So basically what it's saying is that regular people don't matter. They are nothing but pawns into what you want to do. So this is the definition of narcissism.
Good morning, staff and students. Just a reminder, the RBHI screener, forgot to make this earlier this class period. So similar to other days, this is for second period teachers, last name Sepkus through Zarnowski. Please make sure if you're in a second period classroom right now, teacher last name between Sepkus and Zarnowski. A reminder to please make sure and participate in that RBHI screener. Once again, you access the screener via Clever, and then use your student ID to access the site. Thank you.
And what's the conclusion of this? Good government is not moral, just, providing for the people, effective for the goals of those in charge. Effective for them. That's good government. Good government is just effective government. And effective does not mean for the benefit of everybody. It's for the benefit of the powerful. Now, if the powerful has goal, I got to keep it power, so I got to keep the people satisfied. Okay, you're like bad. And strong rulers are necessary. Action is valued. And this is really true. Yeah, that was it. It's kind of a story. Yeah. That's Machiavelli. Action. And by the way, this is really appealing. And so when leaders appear like they're doing something, most people don't really pay attention. So they feel like they're doing something. And there's a reason why when President Trump came into office, he signed hundreds of executive orders, which are how the president will carry out laws written by Congress. He just started signing laws. Many of them were actually illegal, and he didn't care. He just wanted to make it look like he's doing something. And so, and for hard decisions, ruthlessness is necessary to be ruthless. So that's Machiavelli. You have to answer a short idea, give a couple of these examples. Sound good? Pretty basic. You can imagine who likes Machiavelli. Dictators. Is this democratic? Absolutely not. Is this true? No, actually, it doesn't necessarily work, but that's not even the point. The point is, he's telling strong leaders, keep doing what you're doing. It's worth it. And if I flatter you enough, if I kiss your butt, you will give me my power back. Give me something. And so let's get back to one war, quick war. The Habsburg-Valais War. Valais is the royal family of France. You see them called the House of France. It's a couple families, but they're all related. Eventually, the last one of these monarchs will be Louis Philippe. Louis XVI will be the one executed during the French Revolution. But 1515 to 1559, this was a long, bloody, and violent war between Spain and the Holy Roman Empire against France. Now, and the main battleground, or much of it, was Italy. And Rome is in the middle. Rome is desperate to control this church. And that is King Philip of France. Once again, the Valais monarchs had a very prominent facial feature. Very prominent. Something that was hard to miss. Could it be anything? So, that's Philip. Let's go to, this is Francis right there. So Charles V was the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire and Spain. The king of Spain became the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. And this just as Spain was beginning to conquer much of the Americas. His empire would be the biggest the world has ever seen. It will include much of South America, Mexico, all the way up into what is California and Spain, and this massive empire called the Holy Roman Empire. It didn't last. Here is Charles. Can anyone guess his prominent feature? The Habsburg chin. Here's King Charles. This is King Francis I, Philip's son. Can you see his prominent feature? Everyone just simply called him Big Nose. By the way, why? Royal families have to marry into other royal families. So we have cousins marrying cousins, AKA inbreeding. So we have all these inbred people. Well, let's get to the war. France and the Holy Roman Empire were fighting. And France unified with the Ottoman Empire to squeeze the Holy Roman Empire. In fact, the Holy Roman Empire attacked the Ottomans attacked the Holy Roman Empire and even besieged Vienna. So, both Charles and Francis consider themselves to be Christians, fighting for Christianity, power from the Christian God. And look what the French do. Unify with the Sunni Muslim Ottoman Empire. Why? Doesn't it sound kind of Machiavellian? The ends justify the means. And so, in 1527, France would be taken, Rome would be conquered by the French, and they would sack it. And arguably that ended the Italian Renaissance. The Pope and the Papal States lost power. French forces, the most Catholic French forces, went into with the leadership, the headquarters, the most holy spot of the Christian kingdom, and sacked it and destroyed it and looted it. This divided Italy even more, and the Italian Renaissance ended with a bang. Now we'll go off into northern Italy, but fighting would go on for years. There would be massive fighting over two big parts here, Turin and Nice right here, which will wage back and forth between kind of Italy and France. Today it's Italy and France, both sides went into massive debt. And eventually, even though the Ottomans joined, the French were defeated. But it was just the king of France. Charles V's empire never recovered either. In fact, it would be split up here. But the point is, this was fighting between between France and the Holy Roman Empire. And thus the Italian Renaissance is over. That is the death of Charles V. All right, we're gonna get to the Northern Renaissance a little bit later. I'm going to give you the rest of the period then to read 13.1 and 13.2. There will be a quiz tomorrow over 13.1 and 13.2. And as luck would have it, I have a map. Please be the right map. I gave you the Renaissance Italy map. So let me give you the other map. The map will be due on Monday. So you got the rest of the period to read 13.1 and 13.2 and the map. Tomorrow, we'll do art, and we'll get to the Italian Renaissance. Let's see Italian Northern Renaissance. We have to know about two names, Erasmus. All right, here we go. Find RBHI, I think it is. Yeah, it's one of those. Math and quiz. Everyone got it? All right, here we go. Once again, same deal. See if you can answer the ones you know. You see if you, without looking at the map, and then start looking at the map. Ready? Here we go. Quiz me, I think 11 questions. We got lots of time to read.